Fellow Ambazonians, good afternoon to you this Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. It's a great day to be an Ambazonian. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day for our struggle for the liberation of the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. Fellow Ambazonians, we are bringing to you this special broadcast as earlier announced because President Comrade Chris has some information to bring to you. And I am glad that you are tuned in and watching. But for those who may not be here, I would like for you to share this broadcast, share the link so they too can join us. What the president has to say is very, very critical, very important in the life of our struggle, and we want to make sure that this information is received as clearly as possible by everyone who is or who will be watching. So again, I'm very glad to have you with me today. Please do me a favor and share the link. We will have a few minutes to discuss on a few things before bringing in the president, just to make sure that the audience is ready for him. So I'm again calling on you, please, to share the link, share the link, share the link. And if for any reason this show is interrupted on Facebook, please switch to YouTube right away, because we will continue broadcasting. We will not stop. If for any reason Facebook is shut down, because we don't know, sometimes they do that. If for any reason Facebook should shut us down, make sure to tune to YouTube so you can continue watching the show or this program. And again, also tomorrow's Thursday at 7 p.m. Amber time, 7 p.m. Amber time, there will be the Grand APP meeting where there will be further discussions, further revelations of other news items concerning our struggle, which may not be put out here. You know, it's not everything that we can put out on TV, but those very detailed, those very things that we hold dear to us that cannot be put on TV, those ones will be revealed during the APP meeting tomorrow. So you want to be there to get them firsthand. So the APP meeting tomorrow, Thursday, you cannot afford to miss it. You can't afford to miss it. So I'm calling on you to make sure you are present during tomorrow's APP meeting. And now, again, as I said, please share the link. Share the link. I will be joined by a panel of distinguished comrades who will be breaking down not just what the president has to say, but leading up to it, we'll try to pick on the president's brain to see what exactly he has in mind. He's not told us, but we will try to guess as best as we can to see what he has to say. So please do me a favor and share the link. Maybe I should just bring in my panel, and I know I had SOS Frank is supposed to be here. Dr. Ngwambe is supposed to be here. Dr. Epa, the Chief of Staff, is supposed to be here. And of course, not forgetting Honorable Sama Thomas is supposed to be here as well. A very capable panel that will be discussing some ideas leading up to the president's statement. And then after the president speaks, we are going to take a look at what he said and try to break it down so you can get it as clearly as it should be gotten. So again, thank you, fellow Ambazonians. For at this moment, I don't know if SOS Frank is here. Please, can you come in? SOS Frank, are you logged in yet? Are you logged in? SOS Frank? Yes, I can see you.
Hello.
Can see
yes,
you.
I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm logged
All right.
in. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Thank you. And we will try to be as brief as we can because of time constraints. Dr. Ngwambe, are you in, please? Dr. Ngwambe, are you here?
Yes,
Dr.
Tom Mike, I don't know
Ngombe.
if you can hear me before they switch over
All
to
right, now I can
stream
hear
the
you. I
stream,
can hear you now.
yeah, greetings to you, greetings to all Ambazonians, our liberation fighters on Ground Zero, and my fellow panelists. You know,
Thank
I know we're
you.
gonna have a
Thank you.
very
Thank you for
jam-packed
being
show.
here,
You have
Dr. Ngombe.
some very good personalities on the program with us today, Tom Mike.
Oh,
Excellent personalities.
I took my time to choose the very cream of the cream, right? All right, Dr. Epa, I don't know if you are here today. Are you in yet, Dr. Epa?
Yes, I am. Can you
All
hear me?
right, I can hear you 5 on 5. I can hear you 5 on 5. Just sit tight. Just sit tight. Sit tight, Dr. Epa. I don't know if Obasama Thomas is in. Is he in? Obasama Thomas, if you are in,
I'm
please let me
present.
see you. All right, good to know. My panel is all complete. My panel is in the house. Welcome, gentlemen. I hope that we will do Ambazonians a great service today by, first of all, discussing some of the things ongoing in our struggle and some of the statements that have been made by agents of La Republic and their enablers, and of course, their colonial administrators that have been making some really derogatory statements about the state of Ambazonia. So, before we do that, we cannot forget the recently celebrated Independence Day of Ambazonia, where Ambazonians came out all over the world, including Ground Zero, despite the fact that we cautioned them not to do so for their own safety. But they could not resist the urge, the pride that is in celebrating their independence. They all came out in their colors and demonstrated their patriotism by marching in respect of our Independence Day. I was so moved. I was so moved when I saw them. I saw what the Bui Unity Warriors did. I saw what happened in Bali. I saw what happened in, I think it was Muyuka somewhere in the southern zone, all over the place. We saw pictures of our brave warriors. Momo marched, Tuba marched, our brave ARFs in Tuba came out, and all over the place. And not to forget the diaspora. The diaspora, of course, we were down in Washington, D.C. I don't know if we have been shot.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes, my fellow Ambazonians, please stand by. We're just having some technical difficulties that will be resolved in a couple of seconds. Please hold on, please. Thank you. Yes, just to continue where yeah, my fellow Ambazonians, just to continue where our brother Mike Fusi was talking. You know, we saw some great manifestations on our Independence Day, and as he correctly said, you know, as these things were being put in place, we were holding with bated breath, you know, to make sure that our brothers were going to be safe as they carried out their activities, and our families back home were also going to be safe, because we know of some of the things that La République du Cameroun had said in their attempt to block this activity from being celebrated. I don't know if my fellow panelists, actually, I believe my fellow panelists are still on. So let's talk about this. Ngyasama, how did you see this weekend's Independence Day celebrations? I know you had an event at your house. You know, you had a very festive environment. It looks like there was some good drinks there. There was some good food. How did you see this year's October 1st celebration?
Well, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, it was wonderful. Like Comrade Mike has earlier said that we didn't want our people on the ground to celebrate because for security concerns, but they still defy all the odds and went out there to celebrate. The question now is, can La Republique come to terms with what they themselves are seeing on the ground in Southern Cameroons? For this revolution is not still about some of us who are now great completely, but what about those children, 5 to 10, that are now singing the Cameroons anthem? They recognize what they call is their flag, and are marching on the 1st of October without anybody forcing them to march. They are running and march, singing the Southern Cameroons, carrying the Southern Cameroons flag. How can La Republique du Cameroon take this ideology out of this generation if they are not, they drink? For it is an ideology, and it is not easy for you to stop or eradicate an ideology. Let me put it this way. The most difficult moment in a family is when you have girls or boys. To control this class of people is not easy. So the only thing you can do is to advise this class of people what is good and what is bad, and allow them to choose. But La Republique du Cameroon has failed to see the handwriting on the wall that the time for La Republique to use force is over. You cannot change a people for 62 years and you think they will forever remain your slave. Those slave days are over. La Republique should come to terms with that, because if not of the corrupt world, the Southern Cameroons is fully liberated. The only places that La Republique is in control of, not even 100% in control of, but 25% in control, the urban areas like Bamenda, not Bamenda as a whole, but it's upstation where you have their procons there. If you go to the suburbs, most of their programs, like the so-called JOs and SDOs, are upstation Bamenda. They are very sensitive units. So who is fooling who here? La Republique should come to terms with the realities on the ground and not the dreaming for it to help them in any way.
Well said, Yasama. I believe our brother Mike is back on. I don't mind handing back to him for him to continue. But you have spoken very well. La Republique would have done correctly to have resolved this situation long ago instead of the games that they played. But as our brother Patasang said, we know who control the land. Now, Mike, welcome back.
All right. Thank you very much. Sometimes this technology, I was kicked out for whatever reason, but I'm back now. Yes, I want us to just take a quick dig at the statements that have been coming from these colonial administrators in our territory. These colonial administrators, they have been making some statements here that, Ambazonians are terrorists. It's time to go out and terrorize the terrorists. And funny enough, people who have their own capable military, armed to the teeth, and they are now sending our civilians to go and terrorize the terrorists. When you have and by the way, they keep complaining about this interim government or any other organizations within our struggle that are able to sit from thousands of miles away and control ground zero, while they are sitting right there with their military armed to the teeth, and they are not able to do it. We call ghost towns and they respect them. And they're out there screaming like little babies, lamenting. I mean, what does that say about the level of authority that these people actually have on our people, Dr. Epa? Do they have any authority over our people? I think our people have vomited these people a long time ago, don't you think? Dr. Epa? Dr. Epa seems frozen. Maybe SOS Frank, this falls within your domain as a defense person. What do you think about the inability of La République du Cameroon to control ground zero as they should, given everything that they have on the ground? And yet, we are able to do it from a distance.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I want to begin by congratulating, Ambazonians in Ground Zero, our restoration fighters in Ground Zero, for the massive mobilization during our Independence Day. We celebrated on the ground in Grand Star. We celebrated in the diaspora in Grand Star. And I want to congratulate all Ambazonians that gathered, right in front of the White House in Washington, D.C., most especially those that came in from Europe. People flew from Europe to come and to demonstrate and protest in front of the White House. I remember comrades like Bishop Ebenezer. He was there in person. A lot of other comrades from Europe, they came in to demonstrate and to protest right in front of the White House. But one thing too, I would like to bring to the attention of Ambazonians is that La République has this fallacious statement they make in all the times. The people are sitting thousands of miles and they are manipulating people on the ground, inciting them to rise up against what they call is. And it is unfortunate that we are seeing this statement gradually creeping into ranks or within ranks as some leaders of the APRC are picking up that statement and are trying to try to be transmitting that same message onto our restoration fighters. I want to insist on this. Ground Zero can never succeed in the liberation of Ambazonia without the diaspora. And the diaspora, on the other hand, never succeed in the liberation of Ambazonia without Ground Zero. This relationship is symbiosis that must not be disturbed for whatsoever reason. So, if for what La République will say, we know who owns and controls the land. Thank you for that question.
Thank you, SOS Frank. Thank you for stressing that out. One other thing is with regards to this statement by these colonial administrators who have been out, including this self-appointed so-called senator in Fako, Mbela Moki, another guy who was just picked up there and made mayor or whatever. And they're making these statements knowing fully well that they were never elected by the people. They are not representing the people, they are representing themselves. But we cannot allow these statements to go unchallenged. So I want for us to explain to these people who a terrorist is or what terrorism is. By definition, a terrorist or terrorism is the use of intentional violence. The use of intentional violence for the sake of pushing, in order to compel people to respect or follow a political ideology or plan. It is the use of intentional violence. So when these people talk about Ambazonians as being terrorists, I want for us to just take a look at the way their military operates while they are in Ambazonia. They are the ones that go around burning down villages, that's intentional violence. They kill children, pregnant mothers, old mothers and fathers burnt in their houses. That's intentional violence. They use scorched earth measures to exact punishment on people who are not non-combatants, first of all. And there is another element of terrorism. When such violence is meted against non-combatants, civilians, that is what La République du Cameroon has done. So if there is anyone who is a terrorist, those should be the elements of La République du Cameroon that are sent into our territory. And mind you, they are coming in illegally because the Ambazonian is a separate. Now, one other thing is when they talk about terrorism, we know of terrorist organizations in this world. We know of Al Qaeda. We know of the Taliban. We know of Boko Haram. We know of ISIS. These are terrorist organizations that are well known around the world. We just came back from celebrating our independence in Washington, D.C., where we obtained a permit from the State Department, and they gave us the permission to go and demonstrate in front of the White House. And we did so under the protection of the United States Police. While there, I can state here that while in Washington, D.C., while we were in front of the White House, one of the secret agents approached us and asked us to present to them the permit that was obtained, allowing us to be there. And Chairman Cometa, who was the one responsible for obtaining this permit, pulled out this permit and presented it to the secret agent. He examined it and gave us a thumbs up that we were ready to go. We can go ahead and do our thing. And we went ahead, did our manifestation of our independence. And after that, we marched on Pennsylvania Avenue peacefully under the protection of the U.S. police. So my question to these enablers, empty heads, is this. When have you ever seen ISIS, Al Qaeda, Boko Haram, and the others granted permission to demonstrate or march anywhere in the United States of America? Dr. Nwambe, you are laughing, but this is a question I want these people to answer. When have they ever seen these terrorist organizations that are well known? Have they ever been granted a permit anywhere in the United States to demonstrate or manifest anything? Can you explain it so they can understand? Because I see them as mudheads that need to be educated.
Mike, when have you seen 2 cubes of sugar marching in front of the White House? The answer is never now. So, my fellow Ambazonians, in all seriousness, we Ambazonians have been using the force of argument from the day that La République du Cameroon violated the federal, and I'm putting that in bunny ears, federal constitution that their rubber stamp parliament approved without it being ratified in the Southern Cameroon's parliament, right? We've been using the force of argument. So we Ambazonians, we are not terrorists. We are a long way from being terrorists. We are people who operate within the law. We're people who believe in freedom. We're people who want an accountable governance system that is for Ambazonians and by Ambazonians. We are a people who want our dignity. We are people who want to have full citizenship in our country, not. So this terrorist appellation that La République du Cameroon has been trying to pin on us for the longest time is not working. Look at all these people. Look at these gentlemen and gentlewomen who are on the screen there, in front of the White House. Those are not, they don't even resemble what, I guess you would say, what does a terrorist look like, right? But they don't even resemble terrorists. You understand? And the nice thing about what we've been doing all this time from the unfortunate situation where we ended up in this ungodly union with La République du Cameroon is that we have always been using the force of argument to try to pursue our legitimate claims. And everything that we've been doing up to this point is just a continuation of that. It's just unfortunate that La République, in their bad behavior, they always want to use force. You know, they always want to use force on human beings, as opposed to addressing the real root causes of the problems that are facing them and us. And unfortunately for them, Ambazonians, our backs have been pushed against the wall for too long, and we've decided to fight back, you know, the only way that we can.
Yeah, Dr. Gwambe, that is well said. You see, just to let you know that Comrade Chris will be coming up anytime from now to give his presentation. So, fellow Ambazonians, please, those of you who are watching, keep on sharing the link. Keep on sharing the link. Comrade Chris is coming up very soon. Keep on sharing the link. Keep on sharing the link. So keep on sharing the link, please. Comrade Chris will be coming up with his statement very soon. And as we were saying, Dr. Gwambe, I would like Honorable Sama Thomas to chime in here. Dr. Epa is kind of frozen. I don't know if he's in or not. As you rightly said, Dr. Gwambe, we see these people making statements that they have just no comprehension of what they are talking about. And they are trying to, because they are incapable of dealing with the issues, they want to, I think Dr. Epa is back now?
Yes.
Okay, you are back now. All right. After Honorable Thomas, you chime in and Honorable Sama Thomas, just a quick statement about this statement, which is completely false. As I've explained, you have never seen anyone in America holding an ISIS flag or a Boko Haram flag. You have never seen any of them being granted any permit anywhere for anything whatsoever, not even allowed into the United States of America. But we are here being protected by the laws and the legal system, the judicial system of the United States to do what we do. And people are sitting there trying to link us to people who go out and kill innocent people. What do you have to tell these Bela Mokis and the Okala Belais and the rest of these clowns who don't know what they're talking about? What do you have to tell them?
Well, the only thing I can tell them, Comrade Mike, is that I saw the terrorists on the streets of Buea last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the terrorists that they were claiming to chase, they will go out in the streets of Buea to chase that terrorists on Monday, but I didn't see any of them, even the terrorists themselves, who used to man the streets of Buea, terrorizing our people in the name of La République Occupational Forces. I did not see them in the streets of Buea chasing out the terrorists. How can you be chasing out the terrorists who you know the terrorists?
Mm-hmm.
The South Carolina people have never crossed Bonaberi to carry out any terrorist attack in Bonaberi. What are La République soldiers in the Southern Cameroon? What are La République doing in the Cameroon? And this terror must be chased out before people will ever return to the Southern Cameroons. Mbelamuki and the team of Buea and that polluting the occupational system should know one thing, that independent, the total Southern Cameroons is like now. And
all right, Honorable Sama Thomas, just hold your thought there. The president is ready to come in here. President Comrade Chris is ready to come in and make his statement. And after that, we will continue with the analysis and especially to break down exactly what he has to tell Ambazonians today. So let's wait for the president to come in and make his statements, and we'll carry on from there.
Dear Ambazonians, fellow comrades, it has been exactly 1 year since I was entrusted with the responsibility of leading the people's interim government. It is quite intriguing and coincidental too that I am addressing you today, precisely 1 year later, with what we perceive as a significant development in our quest for independence. When I assumed office, I made a commitment to actively confront our adversaries, launch offensives on their territory, and bolster our fighting capabilities. Additionally, I pledged to engage in assertive diplomatic efforts, recognizing that firepower alone, although vital, cannot secure the recognition we seek. I am pleased to address you today with a report card that reflects our dedicated effort towards the goals we set out to achieve at this interim government. But first, I'd like to take this opportunity to emphasize one thing, and it is this. We do not perceive ourselves as being in competition with any group or individuals. The moment we adopt such a mindset, we lose sight of our mission to secure freedom for our homeland and instead focus on self-promotion. This would mean prioritizing our own egos and efforts just to remain relevant. In this struggle, we do not seek relevance. We do not seek validation from others, nor do we strive to draw attention to ourselves. I am saying this so that you understand why we have not and will never publicly claim responsibility for everything we do. We leave that to those who are desperate for recognition and relevance. I mean those who are desperately ambitious for power and more power and more power. However, there is one thing we will not conceal from you: the numerous missions we have undertaken in La République du Cameroon's capital city and Douala. While La République may attribute these missions to natural forces, we are well aware of the true forces behind them. It is crucial that La République du Cameroon continues to experience the same level of pain our people endure, and in this regard, we owe no one an apology. We made a commitment to support all ARS, regardless of their allegiance. We have stood by this promise and will continue to do so without seeking any recognition. Our focus is not on ourselves, but on the liberation of our homeland. The interim government is dedicated to assisting authentic restoration fighters that have a proven record of actively engaging the enemy without seeking personal gain or resorting to illegal activities such as collecting unlawful taxes or exploiting our own people. We believe that these kinds of fighters are the true patriots and fighters of Ambazonia, as they fight solely for the freedom of our homeland. If the firepower on ground zero is not matched with an equivalent diplomatic push in the diaspora, this war will likely be lengthened. Firepower and diplomacy are two critical components of the war that must be given equal attention. I must admit that until now, the diaspora has not been proactive enough in terms of diplomacy. However, Cameroon's refusal to participate in two peace processes, that is, in Switzerland and in Canada, opened our eyes. we concluded that Cameroon is not ready for dialogue. La République du Cameroon is comfortable and expects its army to achieve victory through violence. They believe that impunity will lead them to success. But their intransigence, ladies and gentlemen, has been a source of inspiration to us. We couldn't just stand by and let Cameroon walk away from two potential opportunities for conflict resolution while continuing with the killings. At the Hudson Institute meeting in Washington, D.C. recently, the interim government, along with other leaders and stakeholders, agreed that it was time to develop a roadmap to bring Cameroon back to the negotiation table or to end the war. We unanimously concluded that a United Nations-sponsored referendum is our only option for a solution in the face of Cameroon's refusal to participate in any meaningful dialogue that discusses the root causes of the conflict. I am delighted to report that we have supportive friends and sympathizers across Europe and America, particularly diplomats who continue to guide us towards achieving a United Nations supervised referendum based on their recommendations. And as you already know, we have enlisted the services of a lobbying firm in Washington, D.C. to lead our diplomacy efforts with the United States government, the United Nations, African Union member countries, and the rest of the world. I am thrilled, ladies and gentlemen, that we have successfully obtained the services we very much needed, and they are already actively working for Ambazonia. With their extensive experience in the industry, we are confident, ladies and gentlemen, that we will have the ability going forward to approach any opportunity with much ease and efficiency. However, this is not the major announcement I have come to share with you today. I am even more excited to announce that our firm has already achieved a significant diplomatic victory for the people of Ambazonia. This is it. The Federal Republic of Ambazonia has been officially registered by the United States government as a foreign country. This designation allows us to establish a diplomatic mission for Ambazonia in Washington, D.C., similar to Somaliland, which has yet to be recognized as an independent state, but operates a diplomatic office in the USA. We are looking forward to that in the near future. This signifies a remarkable shift from being just a group, as we know it, to being registered in the United States, acknowledged by the Justice Department as a foreign country under the official name of our country, the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. This is a very important milestone because it for once shut the mouth of La République du Cameroon, which has tried all along to have us labeled as a terrorist group. This development draws the line. We are not terrorists, we are nationalists, we are patriots, we are freedom lovers. La République du Cameroon can go on singing terrorists all they want. America knows, and the world knows we are not. They know we fight for a just cause. It is important we understand what this registration means. When a foreign government or its representatives comply with the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, of the USA, they undergo the process of being registered as a foreign country by the U.S. Justice Department. This registration signifies that the country's government, in this case Ambazonia, or its representatives, have officially registered with the Department of Justice and are actively involved in political, informational, or lobbying activities on behalf of their country, that is Ambazonia. Through this registration, therefore, transparency is ensured, enabling the U.S. government and the public to be aware of the activities and influence of the foreign country, in which case Ambazonia, within the United States of America. Consequently, Ambazonia will no longer conduct its affairs discreetly in the USA. As a foreign country, we will be subjected to scrutiny similar to any foreign mission, say like Ghana, Nigeria, Taiwan, you can name the rest. It is important to note that this development is not solely an opportunity or victory for this interim government. Rather, it presents an opportunity for all the people of the country, our country, the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, who yearn for freedom and independence. In light of this opportunity, it is crucial for all of us to regroup, recover from setbacks, and unite. Only then can we truly embody Ambazonia in not just the interim government. No faction should require a lobbyist, as we already have one for the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. It represents all of us, unless there is a desire for a new name for the country. But the Justice Department already has it assigned to all of us. Predicated upon this opportunity, therefore, in the weeks ahead, we will be embarking on a Meet Ambazonians tour to explain the new prospect that this brings to our struggle and the way forward. Our goal is to reunite all Ambazonians under the one big tent that once existed. I mean the interim government that used to be. Despite past conflicts and differences, this groundbreaking opportunity calls for regrouping and the pooling of our resources to expedite our journey to Buea. I have already made phone calls to some of our leaders to discuss this. I am urging them, our stakeholders and comrades in various groups, to come together so that we can enhance our methodologies in all our dealings and operations. Rest assured that we are currently being observed. Many eyes are focused on us now, and we cannot continue to work in isolation. The era when individuals stroll the corridors of Congress and the White House claiming to represent Ambazonia is gone. It is crucial for all Ambazonian leaders to see this as opportunity, a collective victory, rather than solely that of the interim government. In the upcoming days, I would like to meet and discuss how our various groups can function within the current landscape without, and I mean without, duplicating any of the efforts. We believe that any progress made by any group should benefit all of Ambazonia and not just a pedestal on which to drum political relevance. This is the essence of collaboration, and the timing couldn't be better. Fellow comrades, we have already borne a great cost in this struggle. However, our diplomatic progress has been constrained due to the challenges of accessing the doors that only lobbyists or experts can open. We are now aiming for a swift and aggressive diplomatic offensive in the coming months. Our hope is that these efforts will lead to genuine dialogue with La République du Cameroun, or failing which, a United Nations supervised referendum. I'm pleading with you that as long as the lobby firm can demonstrate their effectiveness, let's come together to support them financially. Sustaining their work will require monthly payments, and we all need to contribute to the fund that covers these costs. Just imagine what we can achieve in the next 6 months if we keep them on board working for us. However, we must be prepared to shoulder the financial burden collectively, not as an interim government, but as Ambazonians. Fellow Ambazonians, they say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. For as long as we have taken that first step, we should never dream of capitulation to La République du Cameroun. Some people who do not have an idea of what we have gone through in the past 61 years with La République du Cameroun want us to believe that we are all brothers, that we can just work things out, and that language shouldn't divide us. I say to them, they are ignorant. We are not brothers with La République du Cameroun. They have never treated us like brothers. We are Anglophiles. We are two cubes of sugar. We are dogs. We are enemies in the house. We are Biafrans. That's what they call us. They have never called us brothers or fellow countrymen. They've never. And besides, those who call this a language war are equally ignorant. We fight because our country was annexed, colonized, and dominated by La République du Cameroun. When we joined them for a federal republic, they revoked it in spite of the fact that the federal constitution provided that under no circumstances should the federal republic be abrogated. We have begged for the restoration of the federal system for the past 61 years. And what we got was a declaration of war on us. We have now entered the 8th year of the war. And Cameroon has not as much as tried a genuine compromise, not even with their friends, federalists, who wine and dine with them. Fellow Ambazonians, the cost may be too high, the sacrifices too many, but who said it was going to be cheap or easy? We have gone far enough to keep on going. God will continue to open us doors. God will continue to lead us. Let us put him in front and continue to water every little effort with our prayers. Ambazonia will be free. God bless you all. Long live the Federal Republic. Short live the war.
We
Yes, fellow Ambazonians, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm sure you heard the news yourself. You heard the news from President Comrade Chris. And I would want to break it down here myself. First of all, I would like to just give some of the main points that the president mentioned in his statement. I mentioned that it is 1 year since he was sworn in as the leader of this interim government. It is 1 year, exactly 1 year today, since his inauguration. And he mentioned the fact that firepower and diplomacy are very vital in our success. Firepower and diplomacy are very essential if we must succeed. And he also mentioned that La République du Cameroon is not interested in negotiations, quoting the example of the Swiss and recently in Canada, where La République simply walked away and pretended that they never authorized anyone to speak on their behalf in Canada. As for the Swiss, they simply walked away. He also mentioned that we now have friends who are assisting us in this endeavor to free ourselves from domination and colonization by La République du Cameroon. We now have friends who are helping us, and you can see from the results that he has just mentioned. Okay, and we also have a lobby firm. We have hired the services of a lobby firm that is working to take our message to those that matter, to knock on those diplomatic doors to make sure that people actually are listening to us. Because for all this time, we've been talking to ourselves and not making much input because we did not have the expertise of those that know how things work within the corridors of diplomacy in the world, working to assist us. So we now have that. We have a lobby firm that's working to assist us. And not just that, but he went ahead to state that this lobby firm has already registered their first victory for us. The first major victory for Ambazonia is that the nation of Ambazonia, the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, is now duly registered in the United States as a foreign country. That's what he said in his statement. And that this registration is done with the Justice Department of the United States of America. That is the big news of the day. Now, if you would just sit tight, fellow Ambazonians, we are going to break it down to you what the significance of this registration is. And I would like to call on Dr. Epa. Are you there, please? Dr. Epa, if you are there.
Yes, I am.
Yes, please. I'm sure you all must be smiling now. It is a good day for Ambazonia. I know it's a good day for Ambazonia. I know you feel the same way. I know our viewers are both in the diaspora and on Ground Zero must be very excited at this point. I think this is one of those things that we have expected all along. It's been long coming, but here we are. The Federal Republic of Ambazonia, not the interim government. Not the interim government. The Federal Republic of Ambazonia is duly registered in the United States as a political entity with all the rights that come with that registration to carry out political activism, not just here in the United States, but even at the United Nations and why not in Europe. So, Dr. Epa, break it down for Ambazonians who are listening now. What is the significance of this announcement?
Thank you, Comrade Mike. I'm sorry that I was frozen. I want to greet our people, the Ambazonians. I am very, very happy. This is breaking news. We have been in this struggle now for 7 years, and this is the 8th year that is about to start. And then we have this breaking news. Well, it simply means that this registration gives us I would say the opportunity for us to work together. It is not registered as the interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, but it is registered as Federal Republic of Ambazonia, which is for all of us, whether you belong to any group. If you are talking about Ambazonia, then it belongs to you. So this is very good news for all of us. And what it means, again, is that, as the president explained, more doors are being opened to us right now. A lot of people will not be persecuted, like when a few people were arrested, and then the so-called lawyer from La Republique was saying that he's the one who has done it, and the rest, that is all gone. We are here in the United States, registered by the Justice Department. There are 3 branches of government in the United States: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. And if the judiciary should do that, you know what that means. So there are more opportunities that will be coming with this registration, which I would not like to say it here. I would like to keep it a little bit secret, because the enemy just want to hear some words from us, and then we manipulate. So, fellow Ambazonians, let us pray, continue to pray to God Almighty, for it is not He, it is He who has done it, but not us. He just guided us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Epa. Thank you very much. I would like to go to SOS Frank here, and you will notice that this registration will give some freedom to some of our citizens who have been here. We know that after a few of our comrades were picked up for things they did here in the U.S. that broke the laws of the U.S., some people affiliated that to our struggle, and they were waiting for more people to be picked up, which never happened. And I hope they realize that it was just that those individuals did certain things that did not fall in line with the laws of the United States of America. But I believe that one of the benefits of this announcement will be the ability for Ambazonians to now have free militancy in favor of the cause for the liberation of the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. What's your take on that, SOS Frank? I don't know if you heard me.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say something on that. This is a big win for Ambazonia. And like Dr. Epa said rightly, it is a singular opportunity for Ambazonians to come together and, prosecute, this war declared against us by Mbivondo and his cabal in Yaoundé. As one. We speak with one voice, we fight with one voice, and we win with one voice. You see, the president said that, this is an opportunity for Ambazonians to come together and, fall back like we used to be, behind one goal, one mission, one vision. And I think that, it already started during the protests in front of the White House. At the beginning of your show, Tom Mike, I was, thanking the comrades that came in from Europe to join us here in America to protest against the brutality of Paul Biya Barthélemy Mbivondo and his genocidal army. We saw people like Chairman Ebenezer, the former chairperson of the ANSC, He was there, and a lot of other comrades who came in with him. So we want to thank everybody who came in and did what they did, own little or big way. But we also know that behind the scenes we have our mothers, especially through the Mother of Southern Cameroon's organization that is gathering her children. And I want to especially thank the leaders of our struggle, the true liberators, the sons and daughters of Ambazonia, those who want to see our nation free and independent, who have all bought into this, the cries of their mothers, and they have come and they're wiping the tears off their mothers' faces. I want to, salute all of them for that. And I want to encourage all the leaders to continue in that respect. I also want to call those who are still, sitting on the fence or just watching, like Comrade Dr. Sako Ikome, to join his brothers because he cannot go anywhere by himself. And we want to say that we don't want to see our comrades, falling back into the hands of La République out of frustrations. So, irrespective of what has happened, we want to open up for one another so that we can genuinely, confess our mistakes one to the other, reconcile ourselves one to the other, and unite again. Yes, I say unite to fight La République, which is the only enemy Ambazonia has. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you there, as well as Frank. I think one of the very important messages we want to Ambazonians to carry home is this. This registration is not for the IG. I want to stress this as much as I can. It is not for the IG. It is for Ambazonians. As long as you are an Ambazonian and you are fighting for the liberation of the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, this registration protects you. Therefore, it is a moment for Ambazonians to rally around this victory. Let us rally around this victory. People have been trying to bring the various groups within this struggle together. And it is time for us to really open up to each other. Get the benefits that come with this registration. It does not matter what under what organization your militancy is being expressed. Let's come together, reap the benefits that come with this registration. It is for Ambazonians to benefit from it. Now, Dr. Ngwambe, this registration recognizes Ambazonia as a political entity, duly recognized by the American judicial system to operate in this country. I want you to shed some light again on the benefits of this with regards to our citizens who are resident out here in the diaspora, some of whom for quite some time have felt threatened and maybe have gone under. What can you tell them? Tell these individuals who for sometimes have felt threatened to come out and express their patriotism for their country, Ambazonia. What can you tell them at this point, Dr. Ngwambe? I don't know if you're there, Dr. Ngwambe, if you heard me.
Yeah, I don't know if you can
Okay.
hear. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, Mike, what I would think that to my fellow Ambazonians, especially those of you who may have, what is the correct word here? Who may have shirked behind the curtains because you have seen some issues that have occurred to some of our comrades. Now is the time for you to come back in. If you've been waiting, if you've been wondering about where we are going to go and what it's going to take, now it is time for you to come back in. As you have been seeing over the past couple of months, for the past year to a couple of months, recent months, this steam train, this locomotive that's going towards Buea, it is gradually picking up steam. So it is now time for you to come back and get on board, right? We are engaged. I mean, as much as people want to say, you know, liberation now, revolution now, politics later, my fellow Ambazonians, what we are doing is a political act. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. All we Ambazonians who want a country to restore the country that God gave us, right? We are engaged in a political act. So it is but necessary that we needed to find the ways that were appropriate to make sure that we were registered in the country that we are operating in, especially the country that believes in freedom the most, a country that has the same history as ours of liberating itself from a colonial master. It was essential that we found a way to register ourselves with that country so that we can be able to engage in our political activities towards liberating our country in a legal way. And we have done that now. So it is now up to you. As Comrade Chris said, you heard what he spoke about inside his statement, that we will be going around reaching out to all the stakeholders, all the leaders, everyone who believes in freedom, justice, and prosperity for Ambazonians. You will be reached out to so that we can find a way to work this thing together and make this thing benefit all of us, because it is for our collective benefit. So fear is no longer necessary for you right now. After all, if you look at our brothers are even facing the greatest fear of all, the fear of being shot at, and then they have to shoot back at you. You're sitting in the diaspora with us. There's absolutely nothing for you to be afraid of. And this particular registration is come to help, you know, give you that umbrella to help shield you from the rain. So all you need to do now is let's find a way to work together with us, and we'll work together with you, and let us push this thing to its logical conclusion, which is the ultimate independence and sovereign nation of Ambazonia being achieved in the shortest amount of time possible. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Dr. Ngwambe. I'll come back again to this topic of terrorism that we have heard in recent days, especially from some of these colonial administrators in Ambazonia. They have tried to paint us as terrorists. They've tried this severally. It's not sticking. I think by this registration, our bodies will become more oily, that whatever they try to stick on us as terrorists will not work. But Honorable Samatamas, you realize that there is no terrorist, the terrorist organizations as we know them around this world, there is none that is registered in the United States of America as a political entity with the rights to operate under the protections of the American judicial system. I'm sure you agree with me on that. So, knowing this, and despite the very false statements that are often made by La Republique's colonial administrators referring to us as terrorists, what can you tell them at this point in time? What can you tell them? How can you educate them, put some sense in their heads to understand that no terrorist organization is given recognition as we have been given here? And again, coupled with what we said about our manifestation of our independence on the 1st of October, then added to this one now, this new information, not only do we have a lobbyist that is here present in the United States working on our behalf, but we are duly registered now. I mean, if anyone still talking about Ambazonians, referring to Ambazonians as terrorists, must be out of his mind. What do you have to tell them now, Honorable Samatamas? Because I don't see how anyone can still go out there and refer to Ambazonians as terrorists, given the fact that we are pretty much covered, protected to operate as a political entity right here in the USA. Honorable Samatamas.
You know, Comrade Mike, when you choose your friends, you cause your former friends, that you antagonize them to make new friends.
Mm-hmm.
La Republic of Cameroon seems to fail because they don't read history. That's why they think they have the free space to describe the people of the Southern Cameroons as terrorists and think they will go. I think they're gonna go away with that statement that we are terrorists. Let me remind them one thing. At the floor of the United Nations in 1961, the then ambassador of the United States made a statement that the United States congratulated the people of the Southern Cameroons for achieving their independence democratically, but opposes the forceful union between a free people, a free democratic society, and with an authoritarian society. That was Clement Zablocki making that statement at the floor of the United Nations in 1961. What the US has done today or last week is just to reaffirm the fact that they voted for the independence of Southern Cameroons. They were never in support of uniting the Southern Cameroons with any other country, as was stated by the United Nations resolution of 1948, that the Southern Cameroon must never be annexed into Nigeria or annexed into any other neighboring country, and that only neighboring country is La République du Cameroon. Those resolutions are still there, and what Clement Zablocki said is still there in the United States Gazette or the United Nations archives. So the only thing I would tell a person like Mbelamuki for describing freedom fighters as terrorists is that anybody who suppresses a freedom fighter gives him a name, and that name is commonly used by any suppressor, which is terrorists. They are terrorists. Southern Cameroon will never be terrorists. What the United States has done is to tell La République that these are not terrorists. They are a recognized people by the United States system. So you can call them whatever you want to call them, but here they are freedom fighters and have the right of their own as a people. Again, let me refer La République to something that they seem to have forgotten. When the ICJ, the court between La République and Nigeria was going on over the Bakassi Peninsula, the Southern Cameroons wrote an interplead ICJ, which the United States ambassador and the United States government drew the attention of the international justice that before you pass judgment over the Bakassi Peninsula, you must take into consideration the Southern Cameroon's interpleader lying on the table of the International Court of Justice. And that was exactly what they did. So, the terrorists, Ntundong Chamberlain, who is calling Cameroon terrorists, or Kalabilai, who is calling Southern Cameroon terrorists, these are the terrorists that are killing our people in Boya. Instead of describing themselves as terrorists and to leave the Southern Cameroons, they say freedom fighters are terrorists. One day they will pay for using just that statement alone, describing us as terrorists, as if we've crossed over to La République to terrorize anybody there. They came into our land. They are terrorizing us in our own house and have the guts to call us terrorists. The next thing we are going to do with this fog is that it is good enough that the United States has recognized us as a people. So we can put a case against La République du Cameroon at any US court against these individuals or La République as a state. When these individuals will step their filthy legs, including Mbelamuki and the chiefs in Boya who call themselves chiefs, they will be arrested and locked up till they will tell the US system and the Southern Cameroonian people who a terrorist is and who has been terrorizing the people of Southern Cameroons.
Yeah, thank you there for that explanation, Officer Matamas. I think one other thing we have to really emphasize here is, and this goes to Dr. Epa, we have not just been recognized, I want Ambazonians to understand that in examining our application to be registered as the Federal Republic of Ambazonia with abbreviations FRA. That is, when you, from now hence, when you hear FRA, it is referring to the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Now, in our application to be registered, the United States Justice Department didn't just say, okay, these are people who want to be registered. They look at what you have done till now. They look at your grievances, if they are genuine or not. Are you just troublemakers? So this registration carries a lot more than we can explain here, because it is not just a matter of us being recognized, but our grievances have also been recognized, and that is why they felt it necessary for us to give us the recognition to now be able to move forward with the next steps of advocating for the redress of the grievances that we are expressing here. It is not just that we have been recognized. They took into consideration what we are advocating for, and they realized that we have the legal right, that our grievances are genuine, and they now have given us the authority to move forward by hiring a lobbyist and moving forward by approaching all the diplomats that are out here to advocate for our freedom. Am I reading too much into this, Dr. Epa?
Chairman Mike Fusi, you are very correct. The registration has a lot, which we are going to discuss tomorrow again in the APP, where I would like to encourage a lot of Ambazonians to be in that APP meeting of tomorrow at 1 p.m. Amber time. But let me just say in a nutshell, Honorable Sama Thomas have said something about this Mbelamuki and what the United States senator said in 1960 about Southern Cameroons at the time. But we don't also forget about what Dak Hamajok, no, Dak, I think it is Hugh Majok. I think that's the the former UN Secretary General in 1961 said that you are trying to unite the Southern Cameroons and the La République du Cameroon was like pushing a balloon inside water, inside the sea. Yep. That one day it will come out. Now we have come out. Yep. And yes, and now they know. So all those La République citizens, many of them, Bamileke, whom we have to come to our country and to take refuge. They are those who are pointing out our boys where they are and they're killing them. They are those who are the worst enablers. And then we have those like Mbelamuki, who claim to be Southern Cameroonians. They have been brainwashed. They have been brainwashed because of the small crumbs that fall on the table. They don't even know. In fact, they know that their master, their colonial masters, is looting everything from Southern Cameroons. Look at FACO with all those resources. Where is FACO developed? How many people are working in Sonara? Look at Victoria, dominated by all those La République du Cameroon. Lands are being sold everywhere. The chiefs have nothing, no mouth to speak. And he calls us terrorists. You know, Satan never gives up. Let us feel that they will not still call us, they will not call us that were terrorists. They will continue to do that. Because that's what Satan is out to do. If you are not attacked, then you are with them, with the enemy. But if you are saving God Satan will always attack you. You know why Secretary Chris is being, President Chris is being attacked, even by our own people in other groups, because they know that he's going to deliver. And he's not delivering. Within 1 year, see what he has just done. The registration took place not even up to 2 weeks ago. And within 2 weeks ago, this is what we have.
Yep.
And then with this registration, many of these who are seeking asylum or they have a freeway now. Just contact us. Contact us. I think you can hear me well.
Yep.
And you have to be genuine. Don't commit crimes. Don't do anything dubious, because we are not going to support it.
Exactly. Exactly. As much as this registration gives our citizens protection to militate for Ambazonia in the USA, you must make sure that your militancy is within the bounds of the American judicial system. You cannot go out there and break the law and expect that it will cover you. No, it will not cover you. You have to operate within the law. Now, let me go to SOS Frank. And again, about the likes of Mbela Moki and the so-called mayor, I don't even know his name. And of course, we have these enablers, La Republique Cameroon colonial administrators who have no place in Ambazonia, because I really don't know how the likes of Mbela Moki, I don't know where they keep their heads. You are standing there in Fako. The governor of Fako is a La Republique Cameroon citizen. Go to Sonara, they own it. Your very land under your feet, they have sold everything. Go in Meme, Tundong Chamale, as a La Republique Cameroon citizen. You are standing there, you are surrounded by these people, just like you have in those days, Dr. Epa. There were slaves who were fighting alongside the slave masters in order to hold their own brothers and sisters in slavery. Yes, they were following the slave masters when they were going to hunt those who were trying to run away from slavery. They will follow them and chase their own brothers to bring them back. So the likes of Mbela Moki are like those slaves who hated even their own freedom. And sometimes I feel that these people are not operating from their own freedom. They are operating out of fear. Because you looked at the crowd when they were standing there. He was standing there trying to show what a good slave he is to his masters. But you think Mbela Moki does not know the injustices that he is suffering and his people are suffering? You think he does not know that? He knows that, but he is afraid. These are cowards. Cowards who do not have the guts to fight for their people. They are willing to sell their own people. You are sitting there being subjugated, dominated, exploited in every way possible. But guess who Mbela Moki was complaining about? His brothers of the northern zone. Those were the people he saw as the evil ones in the house. When the people who are exploiting you are right there, standing there, some carrying guns, ready to shoot you down, that Mbela Moki does not see it. A typical mudhead. Chairman Frank, I feel sorry for people like this. I mean, if I had a son like Mbela Moki, I would disown him, because what's the use of having a son like that? He cannot stand up for you. That's a disgrace. Chairman SOS Frank. Your audio.
Sorry, I was talking while I muted. So
all right.
Thank you for giving me the chance again to say something on this. You see, it is a shame, it is a pity that somebody like Mbela Moki Charles will stand in front of cameras and be calling Ambazonians terrorists, while Okala Bilai is right there in front of him, Okala Bilai and his own small cabal that he has set up in the southern zone has transformed themselves into a gang of land grabbers. I have people here who have bought hectares upon hectares of land from Okala Bilai.
No,
I know
Belamoki does
people
not see
in
that.
Canada who have bought hectares of land from Okala Bilai. What they are doing now in the southern zone, from where Belamoki Charles and that criminal who sits there calling himself a mayor are from, is that they go around and then they intimidate the chiefs. Now, if you want to, transform a portion of land into an area where people can develop and build and stay and do stuff, they have to go and carve out a chunk of that land and give it to them first. They have a criminal syndicate that they have placed at the lands, they call it land and land whatsoever tenure, the Ministry of Land Tenure and whatsoever property whatsoever.
Mhm.
They have set up their friends, and they mostly have people from the western region in that ministry in the southern zone. If you don't go through their channels, bribing with huge sums of money, you will buy land, but you will never own a title. Belamoki Charles is sitting with his tail, in between his legs, like what they call him, the name they have given to him, and people like him. They are singing the praises of people like Okala Bilai while trying to incite hatred between the brotherly people of the southern zone and the northern zone, between the families we have in the southern zone and the northern. Well, I will say one thing here to Belamoki Charles. Belamoki Charles, the name of that guy, they have been placed under the watch list of the restoration forces of Ambazonia. And we will henceforth declare them enemies of Ambazonia officially. And as you are planning all these, these heinous crimes against the people of Ambazonia, we will defend ourselves appropriately. Now, it is fire for fire. We have announced this before, but now it's time for action because Ambazonia is coming together. We will fight you with our teeth, with our nails, with our hands, our feet, and even if you cut off all our hands and our feet, we will use just our teeth to chunk out pounds of our fleshes from you. It is no longer business as usual. And at times, we will not come here to come and say this any longer. It will be action and reaction. So thank you, Chairman Mike, for allowing me to talk a little bit on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think one other thing that we must take note of is the responsibilities of what Belamoki claims to be, which is what he claims to be a senator, right? So the question is, who is a senator? Who is a senator or a parliamentarian, as some may call themselves to? What are the duties and responsibilities of a senator? Let us look at what Belamoki is doing. He goes around, bows down and saying, hey, if I say this, if you don't like it, I don't care. But as a senator, can Belamoki tell us what bill he's ever written and sponsored and passed in their so-called Senate? Let Belamoki come out and tell us a single bill that he has ever written or sponsored that went through the Senate because they are there as hand clappers. He does not even know his responsibilities. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He goes around like a clown, making a fool of himself and thinking that he's threatening. How can you be a senator? You are telling civilians to go and fight people with guns. I mean, who does that? That's so idiotic. And this man, I feel so sorry for him. I feel so sorry for him. If I were his wife and he comes home, I'll beat him on the head with a stick for being that dumb and go out there making a fool of himself in public and then come home. These are people like recruits, people with mediocre mental capabilities to go out there calling themselves leaders. And then they make these very stupid statements. Like Atangaji will go to Meme and say, I'm here in Fako. He's in Cuba, he's calling Cuba Fako. People don't even know, and he's supposed to be the Minister of Territorial Administration. It just makes a mockery of us that this is the best that we can offer as leaders. The voices in the bushes are all those very idiotic statements coming from these people. We are sick and tired of being led by nincompoops. It's time for us to clean house and bring in people who know what it means to lead. Dr. Nkwambe, can you enlighten someone like Bella Muki what his real responsibilities are as a senator? And then we'll continue to maybe analyze the benefits of what we've had today before we close. I think we're coming towards the end, but just a little more, because the statements they made, especially this Bella Muki guy, it was just so very offensive with the way he was speaking. Dr. Ngwambe.
So, Senator Bella Muki, my brother of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonian descent, your role as a senator is not supposed to be that of hand clapping for dictator Paul Biya Bondo. You are supposed to be representing for the best efforts, the best intentions, the best goodwill of your constituents, which are our fellow brothers and sisters of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonian descent who are in Fako County. Right? That's what you're supposed to be doing. Everything that you're doing, it sounds like it sounds like maybe you should go and be the senator of Yaoundé or Mvomeka or Sangmelima, one of those places. That's what it really sounds like what you should be doing. So that way, some of your utterances will actually be in line with what with Dictator Biya, because you'll be speaking about things that are benefiting his people. Right now, you're not saying anything that is benefiting our people. You know very well the history of this unholy relationship that we got in with French Cameroon, where a dictatorship was mixed with a democracy. You see all the underdevelopment that is going on in that country. You see how you are not even able to table any particular bill that's going to address the root causes of the conflict that we are expressing. You see all these things, but instead what you're doing there is you're doing things that please Dictator Biya, and ultimately and unfortunately, some of us are not surprised, because we know that the only way you can win an election inside your constituency is through the rigging at machinery of Dictator Biya, which is why you are not doing anything that is beneficial to your people, because we all know that your people didn't elect you. The people of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia did not elect you. It's the rigging machine of La République du Cameroon that elected you, and that's why you are speaking in such a way that speaks for Dictator Biya. My brother, my Southern Cameroon's Amazonian brother, Senator Bella Muki, you need to lobby with the other Ambazonian senators and parliamentarians in your area to push for the government, the CPDM government, to take the negotiation process seriously, because La République du Cameroon is not going to know any peace if Ambazonia is not free. And you need to do your job. And part of your job is holding La République du Cameroon and its CPDM leadership accountable. All this nonsense of party discipline, what has it done for you? What has it done for the people of Fako? What has it done for the people of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia? It's done nothing. It is better now than later. That is the best advice that I can give to you. Speak up for your people. Stop being a hand clapper. Stop being a follower. Stop enabling the dictatorship of Lateral Cameroon to kill your people.
Yes,
That's my
Dr. Ngwambe. Yes, Dr. Ngwambe. You know, we cannot say enough about these people who are just traitors. They will sell their own brothers and sisters for crumbs. They know what is wrong, what a lot of people is doing wrong to us. It's not because of ignorance. They know it very well. It's just because they're getting some crumbs from the table of Paul Biya. And there's a picture of Paul Biya. If the studio has that picture, I would like for us to see it before we end the show. So we can just take a look at the person they are adoring and worshiping. When you see the image of Paul Biya as he looks, and then you imagine that these are the people that the likes of Mbela Muke and these other enablers run around trying to worship, and you wonder what goes through their minds. That is this really the individual they believe has the capability of leading a country? When you look at the emaciated image of Paul Biya, the guy is completely finished. The guy is finished. And these are the people, and they are still calling on him to run again for another term. Whether they want him to then run as a ghost or what, I don't know, because he's already finished. But Honorable Sama Thomas, I think this is a moment for Ambazonians to rally around their counties and LGAs and come back and realize that we are making progress. I want you to make the call to those who are watching and listening. This is the time, if for some reason you had stepped back and you were a little bit discouraged, you can realize that it is not all lost. As a matter of fact, we are making progress. We are not making too much noise about the things we do, because the one thing we have learned in this story is that when you are talking about something, even your own brother may go out there and sabotage it. So most of the things we are doing now, we wait until they materialize before we come out and announce them. We don't say anything until the things have become successful. Then we come and announce, like what we are seeing here today. If we had told Ambazonians that we were working on this, I can assure you that even some amongst us would have gone out there to sabotage it. So, Honorable Sama Thomas, what can you tell those listening now about the need for them to come back in and let us hold hands and take this success that we have had to another level? Honorable Sama Thomas.
Well, you remove something from my mouth, because had it been we let the public know what we're doing, maybe Capo Daniel could have called the Justice Department in the U.S. to tell them, you guys must never put those guys into the legal system. They are going to bring down the U.S. Like Mbela Muke is saying. How can Mbela Muke be calling himself a terrorist? He's there describing people as not knowing that he himself is the terrorist that he's describing to be. How can Mbela Muke separate himself from me or any other Southern Cameroonian? You stand in front of your tormentor. Your tormentor tells you are a terrorist, and you say, yes, I'm a terrorist. Well, to fellow Southern Cameroonians that have been grunted for one reason or the other, please, had it been all abandoned the struggle because of our disagreement for one reason or the other, I don't think what we achieved today, what we are talking of today, we achieved. It is said that quitters never win and we never quit. That is why we've achieved what we've just achieved, was we decided upon ourselves that we are the last people or last man standing. So please come back to the front. We can only achieve greater things with our numbers. The few of us that are struggling cannot do more than what we can do. But if you join us, I think a lot will be light it is presently on the soldiers of a handful of us. A lot of us are overstretched, not living out myself. I cannot catch up with my bill because of this struggle. What I was doing in this struggle 6 years ago, I cannot do it again today because of the economic dynamics of the world. That the higher inflation rate has caused us not to contribute the much we were contributing before. But if you come up with your own little and I bring my little, we will move mountains. Let us try to forgive each other, no matter what happened yesterday. Let us forgive each other. We come together, put our heads together and our efforts. Instead of a few using 10 years, I think all of us will use 1 year. Like I once said, when I was in primary school, there was an arithmetic subject that was called compound proportion. If a single person can clear 5 square meters of lawn for 5 hours, how many hours will 10 or 5 person use to clear that same space? If you calculate it, it will be 1 hour. Meaning, if all of us put our hands and heads together, instead of using 10 years, we are going to use 1 year. Please, I'm on my knees, pleading with all of you. We should forgive each other, come together, and work as a united people, and free our people as soon as possible. I yield.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Sama Thomas. Dr. Epa, tomorrow is the APP, where more revelations of some of the things that could not be exposed here on TV will be revealed. So it is not yet over. If you want to get more details of all of the things that have been accomplished by this interim government, it is important to attend the APP meeting tomorrow. I just want for you to talk to Ambazonians and emphasize the need for them to attend tomorrow's APP meeting so they can get more information about the successes that this interim government has achieved on behalf of all Ambazonians, by the way. Dr. Epa.
Thank you, Comrade Mark.
And of course, we are going to have questions at the end of after Dr. Epa speaks. I may take maybe a few comments from Ezra S. Frank, and then we will take some questions that the audience may have. Dr. Epa, go ahead.
Thank you one more time. I think for the APP meeting of tomorrow, if we have been having APP meetings or town hall, the one of tomorrow is very great. It's very great. I would encourage every Ambazonian to be in that APP meeting tomorrow. There are many things that we are going to reveal, which we cannot bring it up here. I just also want to add to what Honorable Sama has just spoken about his appeal to our fellow Ambazonians, different groups, for them to excuse each other and come together and unite, if possible, collaborate for us to move ahead. We did not actually hire the lobbyists for the interim government or for ourselves for us to benefit. It is for the name of Ambazonia. And as Honorable Sama Thomas has just spoken, we spend our own money, just the interim government, for this to happen. And imagine if all our hands were on deck, we'll do more. Again, I want to discourage any La Republique citizen who is an enemy to come and join us, because La Republique will be finding ways to infiltrate the ranks and come in one way or the other. We shall spot you out. Let me tell you. We shall support you up in any way, because we have very serious prayers going on in this interim government. And many of these things that are happening, it's not us, it's God who is doing it. And when you want to come in and infiltrate and think you can scatter the Ambazonians as you have done before, it's not going to work. I will tell you, it's not going to work. In Jesus' name, it's not going to work. For some of you who are adamant of committing crimes, some of these enablers who are calling us terrorists, I know, or some of us know that you are not still going to give in. But we're appealing to our brothers and sisters in different groups, in different communities who are giving up. You know that it's the work of the devil to discourage you. It's the work of the devil. The devil will manipulate your mind. Say, don't join them. Don't go there. Don't spend even a dime. But when you know that something is good and you refuse not to do it, then you know you'll be accountable on the last day. Because salvation is personal. I'm in this struggle, not for myself. At my age, when Ambazonian, we get the Ambazonian right now, I can only advise the younger people. Okay? But some of us are in to make sure that the generations to come, the next 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, will not suffer this type of situation that we have suffered for 63. Almost 60 years in the hands of La République du Cameroon. That's why I am in this Ambazonian stuff. And we are going to get that independence. For the federalists, I've seen, prepare a good case for Ambazonia. Some of you are lawyers. Prepare a good case for Ambazonia. If you had done that, that would have been okay. And it would not have been in this situation where La République is killing us. But if you still go on and continue with your your so-called federalism, know that you are still going to be disgraced. And I don't blame anybody tomorrow when that independence comes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Epa. Thank you, Dr. Epa. On the point of people still advocating for federalism, before anyone starts advocating for federalism, maybe you should tell us what happened to the first one. When you tell us what happened to the first one, then we will listen to you. What happened to the first one? When you are able to explain to us satisfactorily, and we feel that your explanation is good, then we can listen to you. But until then, that is off. That is completely off the table. It is completely off the table. SS Frank, there's some news that came in. I think it was early today that I think 4 inmates, we call them inmates, of the DDR center in Bamenda had escaped. We have told people, told our brothers on the ground that, look, you can never trust La République du Cameroon. Whatever they tell you, they will never keep their word. Do not go to these DDR centers, because whatever they are promising you, you will never have it. But some just don't listen. They want to be Thomases, and now they are jumping out of the hot pot and running around like kangaroos. But if they have successfully gone away, lucky for them. But there are many of them who are still in there who were deceived to submit themselves to La République du Cameroon. Or call them inmates, because they do not have the freedom to leave. They are prisoners. Those in the various DDR centers are prisoners. Let's call it what it is. They are prisoners. They are not free people. They cannot leave, go and come as they wish. No, because they are being detained for when they will need to kill them. Then they will just kill them. They are just waiting for this conflict to be over. In case we don't succeed, all those people there, whether boys or girls, they will be slaughtered. So can you shed some light on what happened? And we can take some questions from our viewers.
Okay.
That's Frank.
Thank you for giving me a chance to say a word. Can you hear me? Can you?
I think your
You are
network
like
is your
Can you
network
hear
is a
me?
bit
Can you hear
shaky.
me?
Your network is a bit shaky.
Okay,
Try
can you hear
again.
me
Let's
now?
see. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, yeah, I was saying that thank you for giving me the opportunity to say one or two words on that. But before I come to that, let me take one very important thing that we have to talk about today. We know that back in June, La République du Cameroon came out with a very, very controversial, communique banning the sales of, our cocoa in markets of our choice.
Yep.
And they said no cocoa should move from, the southern zone to Nigeria through a cock. Now, that was, against all norms. But recently, a few days ago, I heard this other Tum Tum. They call him Tundong Chamberlain in Kumba. He is
The one
the
with the
GO
one with
or
the
the
swan head.
SGO, something like that.
Mhm.
Yes, saying that all farmers or traders who want to go sell cocoa in Nigeria should report or register with his office, and he will provide soldiers who will escort them. I want to seriously warn our people from showing up anywhere around that man's office for those purposes, because they actually intend to, to document all the people that are, carrying their cocoa to the markets of their choices, and that is how they are going to pick you up. They are going to extort a lot of money from you, and they possibly may kill you. But then, to him, Tundong Chamberlain, I want to say that the Bosjongo Highway leading from Kumba through Manfe to Ekok is highly monitored. We will see who owns and rules or controls Ambazonia. Any driver, any trader, any farmer that will go to the DO's office to register and be escorted by a Kelebes soldiers, thugs from La République du Cameroon, we know exactly what their mission anywhere in Ambazonia, is. And when we will see them, I am saying that when those cars are taken off from all of those places in the southern zone, we know who is in there. And we will not warn nobody. We know what they are coming to do. We will not continue to be falling prey to their, dirty traps. We will defend ourselves. If you want to go sell your cocoa, go and sell your cocoa. We will not disturb you. If he is coming back to be pleading with you guys to go register with him that he will give you a Kelebes to escort you, is because they have not been able to implement that criminal, law of his or theirs that they tried to implement in Ambazonia. And now they want to use you as scapegoats. They also want to, get you documented as people who have, disobeyed their laws. So do not fall a victim. And if you choose to go and, register with his office, don't say that we did not warn you. I am officially warning you guys today and discouraging all Ambazonians or all traders, whether you are a La Republican or you are from wherever. Do not go there. Do not accept that any soldier, whether he is in civilian or in military attire, to board the same car with you and your cocoa. You will lose your cocoa and you risk your life dearly. Now, let me come back to this incident of the inmates in the DDR center. Yes, 4 of them, they escaped from the DDR, from the prisons of the GDR. And even though we are happy that, our brothers who decided, through, this bait that people like Okala Bilai and you call him Bela Muki and the rest of them, are using to, lure them into the prisons. They have disappeared from that place by chance, but yet we are watching with our eyes open. We know what La République can do. These people will stop at nothing, and we are watching. We are happy that they are out of there. If they are wise, they should take their different routes and go to places where La République will never find them. As of now, we really do not need their services. We do not need their services. They can contact the leadership of their various counties, and they can provide the necessary, information they may have to that leadership, and that would be, transmitted to the right quarters for action. But we will not at this point admit any of them into any of our churches to come there for prayers, to any of our plantations to go in there for farming. We don't need any more of such farmers. So with that said, I want to reiterate here that if Bela Muki or anybody is coming around saying that, Cameroon is one and indivisible, I want to remind them that the sham federal constitution that was, passed by La République du Cameroun solely through the orders of Ahidjo was without any Southern Cameroonian sitting, in that parliament. In 1972, the same Ahidjo went ahead and abolished the federal system for which that federal constitution was, was passed by him or by them. He abolished it solely. That was La République du Cameroun. It wasn't Ambazonia. And then to crown their colonization, agenda, Bimvondo in 1984 abolished everything and took us back to the name they came into that federation with, La République du Cameroun, to show to the world that they have colonized Ambazonia. But we are saying that we are the never again generation. We have taken our country back. Whether they like it or not, we have no apology to whoever. And we will defend our territory till the last drop of our blood. We will no longer be intimidated. You can see that we, advise our civilian population to observe the 1st of October at home. Sit in at home and, celebrate. But even our people on the ground, they defied, their fears. And this is the new mentality we want our people to get, that if we all are able to overcome the spirit of fear, we can mobilize in ground zero, come out like we did in 2017, and the La République du Cameroun will have nothing to do. Because now, of course, the international community is watching more closely than ever before. Thank you very much. Let me round up this conversation with what happened in Nguti. Nguti has been notorious in killing our fighters, freedom fighters, your own children that are fighting for you. Nguti killed 16 Ambazonian youths. Nothing happened. They went ahead and killed 6 others. Nothing happened. On the eve of October 1, Nguti arrested, tortured, brutally wounded 4 Ambazonian youths. They beat them up mercilessly. Blood was oozing out from everywhere, and they tied them up naked and carried them to go hand them over to La République du Cameroun, literally saying that they took their own children to the slaughterhouse I am telling you, all of you who took part in that exercise, your cup is full, it is overflowing. And we will say that this will never happen again. We need to set an example. And if Nguti is going to be that place where that example will be set, so be it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for those closing statements, SOS Frank. I'll just give 30 seconds each to Dr. Ngwambe, Alvin Sama Thomas, and Dr. Epa to make their own closing statements, and we'll call it a day. Of course, the highlights of this program today have been the announcements that were brought by President Comrade Chris about us having a lobby, hiring a lobby firm to work on our behalf. And of course, the major one was that the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is duly registered in the United States of America as a political entity. So, Dr. Mwambe, your closing statements, and we'll call it a day.
Yes, thank you, Tom Mike. I want to make sure I thank the production team of ABS TV for making it possible for the show to be held today. I want to thank you, Tom Mike, for always inviting me, and also to my brothers, my senior brothers, Dr. Epa and Sama Thomas, and SOS Frank. You know, wonderful show today. It's always great having this conversation with you. My fellow Ambazonians, thank you for joining us today and for coming to listen to us. Tomorrow, you will be briefed. I'm sure some of you have already begun to see some of the flyers going around and even the Zoom link for tomorrow's meeting. That's where you're going to get some additional flesh, some additional information, and you'll be able to ask some of the burning questions that you're answering in the form, which in the various forms that you're in, which we may not have been able to address directly on this show. So make sure you join us tomorrow at the APP Town Hall at 7 p.m. Amba time. Doors will be open at 7 p.m. Amba time. The spaces will fill up quick. And when the spaces fill up, you may not be able to get in after that. So make sure you show up on time so that you can have a space so you can be able to listen to additional details and be able to ask the questions that you want to answer. Finally, my fellow Ambazonians, we were already told that we are going around, all of us who believe in this independence and all the people that we're speaking to in the national scene, that there are too many messages, and the international community and those who want to really act on our case, they don't know which message to listen to. Yes, we are united in purpose. We want an independent Ambazonia, but we have to be giving a unique ask. The bringing on of this lobbyist, and this lobbyist registering us as a foreign entity with the U.S. Department of Justice is going to help us further in presenting that unified, coherent ask. And the only way we're going to continue to be able to use this particular option, which we were advised to pursue by a very influential figure in the independent scene, is through your financial support. So please let us all come on board. Let us work together. This is a success for all Ambazonians that we all can benefit from and that we all can carry, like the Seven Kata did when they were our brothers who were carrying the Seven Kata on their head to move things along in those days. God bless you all. Take care and have a good night.
Oh, thank you there, Dr. Ngwambe. And Alvin Sama Thomas, 30 seconds, please.
Thank you.
Sama Thomas. All right.
Yeah. Let me say something here. The Southern Cameroonian people don't know their strength. But what I want to is the position the American people have taken. Like today, I am happy that my money has done something that I put out that money for, and the result has come back. The country that I was expecting, praying all through my life to recognize the Southern Cameroon as a state, there was no any other than the United States of America. They have done that. Let me tell the people of the Southern Cameroons, in 1957, a British geologist surveying the Southern Cameroons wrote a book that the Southern Cameroons is a giant economic state in the whole of West African sub-region. If you look at the mass of the Southern Cameroons, it's only 43,000 square kilometers. If you look at the population of the Southern Cameroons then, it was just 85,000 people. it cannot be the population of Southern Cameroon that made the Southern Cameroon a giant economic country, and it wasn't agricultural wise. It is the wealth in the belly of the Southern Cameroon, taking into consideration that the Southern Cameroon is the basin of the oil that is found in the Gulf of Guinea, making it the richest oil well in the whole of Africa. That is why that book, the Southern Cameroon is a giant economic country in the whole of West African sub-region. So, fellow Southern Cameroonians, join us tomorrow at the APP meeting for us to finish this thing at once and go back home and enjoy what is meant for us to enjoy. Like Dr. Ngwabe has said, I want to appreciate all of you, and especially Comrade Mike, who always called me to come and dabble over whatever I can dabble with here. I don't know if Southern Cameroonians are getting it and understanding me. I hope they are doing so, or else they will not be appreciating what I'm saying. So I am looking forward to see all of you tomorrow at the APP meeting to get their own contributions on how we can pave the way forward. Thank you.
No, it is my pleasure to always have you, Mr. Thomas. I should be thanking you for respecting the invitation to be on ABS TV whenever we call. We cannot thank you enough. Dr. Epa, last but not the least, your final statements, please, and we'll call it a day.
Thank you one more time, Chairman Mike. I will thank every person who has joined this broadcast this evening. The Ambazonians, please, we have already called for unity, for collaboration, for us to move ahead. There's a lot in front of us for us to cover. And please, even if you have been disgruntled because of one thing or the other, come on board. Now, let me go back to what the Secretary of Defense has said regarding Guti. I come from Guti, and I've always sung on ABC and now ABS about the killings in Guti, the local government area. It first started in one village called Tale, with 5 boys slaughtered, and then 17. After that, somewhere captured in Babinsi, also in Ediongo. And what happened on October Eve was Ekenge. Now, you think you are going away with it, isn't it? Even if you are not persecuted, you are going to go to hell, because all those boys who have been killed, they had not killed any one of you. Although some of us did not support some certain thing that they were doing by trying to collect some ransom or whatsoever, but they never killed any one of you. And the worst thing is that it's not a republic. They are bought into the idea of enablers. Just like what Mbela Muki was saying, that they will tolerize the terrorists. Now, Ambazonia is not called terrorists. We are a foreign country registered in the United States by the Justice Department. And I will advise all of you in Guti local government area, you have to repent now. And all those young boys who are killing others, they fought before when this war just began. But the enablers who are working in Yaoundé decided to make sure that they do not support the war any longer. And there are those who are killing others. So please, you have been advised. Be careful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Epa. Thank you for coming on board today for this special program of the announcement of the accomplishments of this interim government, on behalf of all Ambazonians, fellow Ambazonians, it was a pleasure having you on the set of the ABS again today. Please continue to share this message so all Ambazonians can benefit from it. And we look forward to bringing to you more developments, especially more accomplishments that we are working with our lobbyists to accomplish for all of us, regardless of your organization. Fellow Ambazonians, it is not enough. We must get to this mindset that it is not enough to accept your circumstance as defined by others. It is not enough. We must muster the courage to reach out there and grab for ourselves those things that belong to us, even when sometimes those things seem very far. It is irresponsible to allow others to define for us what we can have or what we cannot have. It is our moral responsibility to reach out and get those things for ourselves and not allow ourselves to behave like beggars. So we cannot continue to allow others to define for us or to decide for us what kind of leaders we should have, to allow others to decide for us what kind of currency we should have, what kind of educational system our children should have, what kind of economy we should have, what kind of developmental projects to carry out in our territory. We have to take over that responsibility and decide for ourselves the kind of life we have to live going forward. So we don't behave like beggars, always like the Mbela Mokis, stooping down like beggars every time and being kicked around. Those days are over. So it's a joyous day for Ambazonia, and you should all walk around with your heads held high. You have been recognized. You have the right to go out and fight for what is duly yours. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, while smiling, I say good night to you all and take care of yourselves and each other.
Facebook.